For 3 years, Laura Loomer told Americans that Ukraine should surrender to Russia and give back the money it stole. Now she is sitting in a baroque palace garden in Kyiv, across from Volodymyr Zelenskyy, calling herself an asshole for having believed the Kremlin. From here in Europe, this is the sort of story that makes you put down your coffee. Not because a far-right American influencer changed her mind, but because in Washington, an influencer with no government job, no security clearance, and no election behind her can shape the fate of a war on European soil. That is the part Americans treat as normal. We find it quietly astonishing. So let us explain who this woman is. Laura Loomer is 33 years old. She holds no official position, and yet she flies on the president's plane, dines at Mar-a-Lago, and walks into the Oval Office carrying lists of officials she deems disloyal. After Donald Trump met Vladimir Putin in Alaska, several senior intelligence figures lost their jobs. British media christened her Trump's Rasputin. Exaggerated perhaps, but almost nobody in the American capital enjoys comparable access to the president. For years that access came wrapped in Kremlin talking points. She mocked Zelenskyy, a Jewish president, as a man arming neo-Nazis with American tax dollars. Standard Moscow scripting. Then, apparently, a documentary changed everything. A Ukrainian film about the persecution of evangelical Christians under Russian occupation, co-produced by a former United States Marine, reached her. Tortured pastors, seized churches, abducted children. That, according to Ukrainians in Washington, is when Loomer's conversion began. Note what moved her. Not the mass graves, not the flattened cities, not 3 years of documented atrocities that European broadcasters have shown nightly. It took a film about Christians to reach the MAGA heart. From a European vantage point, that tells you exactly which lever unlocks American conservative sympathy, and it is not international law. Now she warns her millions of followers that Moscow deliberately manipulated conservative Americans. Which is true, it is also faintly comic to hear it announced as breaking news by someone who spent years being the manipulation. And she is not alone. Tim Pool, an influencer who once received Russian money for his shows, suddenly declares that Ukraine is fighting an evil dictator for its very existence. The vibe, as the Americans say, has shifted. It shifted at the top too. Trump, who spent months humiliating Zelenskyy and freezing aid, now praises Ukrainian bravery. At the Group of Seven summit, he sharpened his criticism of Putin. His administration signaled it would license Ukrainian production of Patriot interceptors. This is not a fundamental reversal of American policy. The rhetoric has softened. The substance is still catching up. But here is the sober European conclusion. When a nation's Ukraine policy can swing on the mood of an unelected influencer who watched the right film, that is not diplomacy. That is a mood ring with nuclear weapons attached. And Europe, standing next to the actual war, is left hoping the mood holds. That's the view from here. What does it look like where you are? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for the perspective American media won't give you.